I don't remember if I did this already or not, but screw it. Here are a handful of things I want to see in the upcoming Pokemon games. I know Legends ZA just came out, but I saw a post asking about hopes, and instead of responding to it, I decided to make a video on the topic because there's a lot to cover. These will not be in order because I can't be bothered to think that way, but here we go. Number one, I want the base game to be like Black and White, where we can only use the new Pokemon. This will teach us the new Pokemon types and weaknesses/resistances, and force players to use the new Pokemon instead of always using the same Pokemon from past regions. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in Pokemon Black and White, the first ones, we could only use Unovan Pokemon. I want this game to be similar to that. Number two, to add to this, part one, no new regional forms or regional evos. While regional forms are cool and all, we should move away from it at the very least for these titles, especially if number one is made true. And the regional evo thing is dumb, or is a dumb idea to begin with, in my opinion, because then you should have just made a new Pokemon line instead. Number three, part two. I would like this game to use underused type combos / type combos where only one Pokemon thus far has used it. However, if a Pokemon ends up being 4 times weak to a type, then the combo should either not be made or be reserved for a stage 1 or 2 Pokemon, so then the final stage would drop a type for a new one. So one of those type combos is normal ice, normal steel, normal rock. 4 times weak to fighting. Should not be a type combo, but I'd be fine if it's only stage 1 or stage 2, where the final stage, the normal typing gets dropped, or it's a 2-stage Pokemon, and stage 2, the normal typing gets dropped. I'm okay with that. Number 4, no single stage Pokemon unless if it's a legendary. I think single stage mons are dumb, and every mon should at the very least have 2 stages to it. There should, though, be an equal balance between Pokemon with 2-stage and 3-stage evolutions. If you're confused about what I'm talking about, 2-stage, think Zorua and Zoroark. 3-stage, think the starter Pokemon, Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur. That's what I mean. Number 5, most Pokemon in the dex are dual type. This fits with number 3, but I also just don't like monotype Pokemon unless if it evolves into having a secondary type. So again, the starters, they evolve into having a secondary type. That I'm fine with. But at the end stage, the Pokemon should have a secondary typing. Number 6, I want there to be an equal balance between all the types. There should not have to be a huge discrepancy for the types in this game. There should always be at the very least 3 options of one type or more for a team, the starters being excluded from this. So, in other words, there would be like three different grass types plus the grass type starter, as an example. Then that way everything is balanced. Number 7, turn-based combat should return. Legends of the not being turn-based is okay, but it should be the only game to not be turn-based. Pokemon, at its core, when it comes to fighting at least, is about it being turn-based. That's the entire crux of the Pokemon battling system. It's always been turn-based. Number 8, I want better character customization and clothing options. Zaya has some of the worst clothing options of all the titles, and the only redeeming factor about it is that the clothes are unisex now, I guess, and the hair customization is better, but the options given for said clothing is god-awful, and it's been this way since, what, Scarlet and Violet, I think? No, it's been this way since Sword and Shield, because Sun and Moon / Ultra Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, were the last games that had good character customization. Number 9, one rival and only one rival character. And make this character an annoying asshole at first, who then develops to be less of a prig and a friend who teases you / gives you shit like how a normal friend would. The rival in question would be the opposite gender you didn't pick. So if you picked the male character, you would get a female rival. If you picked the female character, then you would get a male rival. And you would have the 2 characters act completely differently so that they're not just a copy paste. So if you pick the female character, say for instance the male character is a complete and total asswipe, but if you pick the male character, the female character is friendly, but in a teasing / annoying kind of way. Like, she's not a complete asshole, but she still treats you like dirt, kind of. And I think a really cool idea for this should be that the rival is your sibling, and the 2 characters are twins. I think that could be really cool, because that hasn't been done yet before, I don't think. Number 10, for the love of God, if a relatively niche game franchise can have the entire game be voice acted, Fire Emblem. If a spin off of a beloved franchise can have full voice acting for story cutscenes, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, then so can Pokemon. I'm not saying everything needs to be voiced. I'm just saying that everything involved with the story should be voiced. If it's not important to the story, like a side quest or talking to NPCs, then those can remain unvoiced. But for the love of all that is holy, please have the next games have full story voice acting. I am getting so sick and tired of one of the biggest grossing franchises in gaming not have voice acting. It pisses me off to no end. And the reason given is absolute dog shit. Supposedly, the reason given is, oh, well, we don't have voice acting because we want the players to imagine what the characters sound like. That's a terrible excuse for not having voice acting. Hire popular anime voice actors slash people that voice acting video games. Hire them and get them to voice act your characters. You've been on the Switch for how long now? You have the money. Do it. Anyway, some bonus things I would like for this game. I want the game to be under $70. 50 to 60 USD is perfectly fine. I think that's a reasonable price range. I don't want HM moves, so cut, rock smash, surf, waterfall, etc. Thankfully, they've moved away from those, but still, just to be safe, I'm going to ask for that anyway. I want the game to actually look good, and I want it to look like every other first-party Switch title. So, think your Xenoblade, your Legend of Zelda, your Metroid, etc., etc. Like, I want the game to actually look good, and not look like an old generation game. Game Freak has the money. They also have the time for a few titles. Like, what, ZA took them, what, 2-3 years to develop and make? And it looks the way it does? Come on. I want the gym leaders to actually be characters as well, and not just roadblocks to overcome. This goes double for the Elite Four members. Also, let the Professor play a big role in the story. I'm not asking for something akin to Scarlet and Violet, where the Professor is a twist villain, or a twist villain, in quotation marks. And I'm not asking for something like Kukui either. I just want the Professor to actually be a character, and it's not just they introduce you to the character in the game in the beginning of the game, and that's it. You don't see him for the rest of the game. I don't want to have the DLC that is just post game, especially when said DLC should have been in the base game to begin with. If it is DLC, it should be a free update and not 20 to 40 bucks. I want the MC's parents, or I want the MC to at the very least be 16 years or older. Most fans these days are in their late teens slash early 20s or older, and yeah, stop with the 10-year-old child. I want the characters to actually be older. Not only that, but I'd like to have both of the player parents be alive and well, and just be supportive parents that come in every now and then during the story. It's mostly just the mother, and we don't know nothing about the father. Like, have both the mother and father be in the game. And an idea I had was have the mother slash father be a champion. So if you pick the male character, the mother is the champion. You fight the mother. If you pick the female character, then the father is the champion. And they would both have different teams. And then during the post game, you would fight the one that you didn't get to fight. So if you're the guy, if you pick the male character, then you fought your mother in base game. During post game, you would fight your father, and then vice versa with if you picked the girl. But after you fight the other one, you get to fight the both of them in a team battle. I think that would be sick as hell. And lastly, I don't want a regional gimmick. I get that they've been a thing since Gen 6, but it's okay to not have a gimmick for this game. And if it does have a gimmick, only have the newer Pokemon be able to use it. An idea I have is to turn the Pokemon into armor or a weapon type and let the trainers actually do something instead of commanding the Pokemon. So the trainers actually get to fight the Pokemon slash they get to fight other trainers. But have it be for specific fights slash only allow it for like have it be for story moments or for something else entirely. Like I'm not asking for something similar to Final Fantasy 16 where they're very few and far between, but I would still like them to be a thing that you can still achieve even outside of main story combat. This is just a list of things I'd like to see for the next Pokemon title. Feel free to let me know what you all would personally like to see. I've been Rikishi, and I apologize for how all over the place I was for this video, and apologies for how fast I spoke. But, yeah. Pokemon needs to change. It does. And these are some of the things I wish they would take to heart and change. Voice acting especially, because my god, it's one of the only games, first-party Nintendo games, that still does not have voice acting yet.
Time to clean this.
No forgiveness. Victory, the only option. Yeah.
I'll bite your throat out.
Weakling.
Here to serve.
No forgiveness. Just don't blink. My blade is already sheathed.
With this power.
Purging flash. Weakling. How about this?
By your will.
No forgiveness. Your opponent is me. Not going to deal with you individually. A chance to score. Let's go. Focus on the target. Hey! Behold, the most symmetrical sword waiting. So is it.
Out of mine!
It's time.